Okay, so welcome everyone. This is an ongoing learning webinar series brought to you by District 53 Toastmasters. You might also be interested in additional topics for Toastmasters posted in our archives, as well as upcoming programs, of which we have many. And we also have some great ones on mentoring members that have not yet been posted, but will be by next week. Please check the District 53 Toastmasters website for more information. And this webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on the District 53 website for future viewing by tomorrow. There is a handout supporting this webinar with worksheets and samples. If you would look to the right-hand side of your screen for the tab that says Handouts, you can download them directly from there. My name is Heather Turner. I have currently ACB, ALB certification. I am the District 53 Social Media Chair and the member of 2 Toastmaster clubs in Connecticut. I would ask to ensure the quality of the sound of this program. Attendees will be muted for the length of this webinar. If you do have questions, please type them in the right-hand sidebar. Type your questions, please, as you think of them, because if you do wait until the end, sometimes you may not have remembered you did have a question midway through. Many of your questions will be answered during the program. Additional questions will be addressed after the main presentation is complete. Please get your pens ready, and this will be a fast-paced and value-packed program. And now, for our special webinar, How to Transform from Toastmasters to Paid Speaking. Is your heart's desire to be paid for speaking? I know mine is. Want to know what it takes to get started and how to use Toastmasters to accelerate your success? Get ready to discover the answers to these questions from a 28-year member of Toastmasters. On a personal level, all I can say is absolutely wow, who has earned our highest communication and leadership awards, including the Elite Accredited Speaker designation. Sheryl Roush is the CEO of Sparkle Presentations, based in San Diego, California. She is a 25-year professional member of the National Speakers Association, holds the Golden Microphone Award from the Los Angeles chapter, and was honored as Member of the Year for both the San Diego and LA chapters. To date, Sheryl has given over 3,500 presentations in 12 countries and is speaking in Canada and the Bahamas next month. As a conference keynote speaker, Sheryl has opened on stage for Dancing with the Stars' Marie Osmond, closed for actress Gina Davis, and followed Olivia Newton-John. She has earned standing ovations from sports arena audiences of 5,000 people plus. An award-winning author, she has published 17 books, including the Heart of a Toastmaster book, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. I received a copy from our past district governor, earning 2014 Best Anthology from the International Book Awards. With this special Speak and Market Like a Pro webinar on how to transform from Toastmasters to paid speaking, here's distinguished Toastmaster, past district governor, accredited speaker, Sheryl Roush.
Yay! And it's applause by one. Welcome everyone to this special webinar. Are you ready to transform from Toastmasters to paid speaking? Yay! Give yourself a yay, even if it's only you in the room. Yay! Wow, well, let me share with you, because a lot of you don't know my story. I was painfully shy growing up. Yeah, this is me. Aww. I was so shy. My mother was an Avon lady. Ding dong, Avon calling. And she would drag me on her Avon routes from door to door greeting people. And, you know, today I've got to say thanks, Mom, because it really helped start me on overcoming my shyness. In high school, what was I thinking? I became the commissioner of PEP, which meant that I was in charge of leading the pep rallies for the entire school, which was 2,000 fellow classmates, faculty, teachers, athletes, everybody in the gymnasium. I remember not sleeping for probably 3 or 4 days in advance, crying, not eating. No, I was a mess. I was a mess. You know, my icebreaker was pretty similar, which, by the way, this is where I joined Toastmasters. It was, I want to say, March 15th, 1987, when I walked through the doors. Pat Johnson, past international president, came to visit me in San Diego, and we went there, and I go, oh my gosh, Pat, how perfect is this that I'm here with you, only the 5th female international president of the world. So there it is down in Bazaar del Mundo. Wow, little did I know, and that matter of fact, that's the title of one of my stories in the Heart of a Toastmaster book. Little did I know that when I walked through those doors at this Mexican restaurant, to two professionally dressed women greeting me at the door, a fire crackling in the background, applaud for everything. I didn't even know what kind of thing that I had walked into. Later I found out it's called Speechcraft, and it was an accelerated public speaking communication skills course. I didn't know what I was doing, but I loved the applause. I joined that day, gave my icebreaker a couple weeks later, cried through the entire thing, had 19 ahs and ums, needed to pay $1.90 to give that speech, and I thought, wow, what's wrong with this picture? Because if I want to become a professional speaker, it meant people would pay me. What I also learned is that if I could speak through waiters clashing dishes, dropping silverware, huevos rancheros flying across the room, if I could hold my focus and get up, by the way, at 4:30 that morning to travel to the club, be in the door by 6:15 to get a seat at my very large club, and to be able to speak at 7 o'clock in the morning, I knew I could do anything. 4 years, weekly perfect attendance. When you are committed to transforming your life and you stick to a program, the program works. And the same is true with Toastmasters, any eating routine, any diet, any type of exercise. Work the program because the program works. So here I am. Today is the 91st birthday of Toastmasters International. Thank you to our founder, Dr. Roush C. Smedley. From there and in Toastmasters, I learned to build my confidence. It was a safe environment to start speaking. I was loving the advanced manuals, and I'll be giving you tips throughout this program of really how to maximize your Toastmaster membership to help promote you into getting paid engagements. This is one engagement for SCORE, which is the Senior Corps of Retired Executives, a network meeting for women about solid gold marketing. So I took my Toastmasters skills outside of our safe environment into the public, started giving free seminars, wrote a couple of books along the way, which really gave me credibility as well. So if you're thinking about writing a book, get it done. Get it done. And then from there, getting paid. So here's what you can expect from this very fast-paced program. You will explore your ideal topics and audiences, including those that will pay you. You'll understand what it takes to get started. I believe that there are 10 things. And you'll discover how to design speaker marketing materials to get you hired. Yay! Show me the money. In your handouts, again, if you have not downloaded the handouts, look over to the bar on the right where it says handouts. Download the handouts from there. You can even do that while you are on this webinar. You will see the handout pages come up onto the slides, so just in case you don't have the handouts, you're not lost in the program. So again, this is from the Speak and Market Like a Pro series, which is one of my new trademarked foundational programs. And if you need to contact me, all of my contact information is right there on the front of the handout. So let's jump in with our first poll. Ready, Heather? So get ready and over to the right-hand side. Heather will walk you through how to do this. Here is my question for you. How many times do you speak outside of your club each year? So if you counted them up on one hand or two, or you throw in your toes, how many times outside of your club each year? That could mean Rotary, Lions, Seroptimus, any of those. Heather, go ahead.
Yep, we are rolling, Sheryl, and Mike had a question for you.
Yes, okay. How are we doing?
We have about half of the attendees, so you've got about a minute.
Okay. Select one of the following. How many times do you speak? 1 to 5 times a year? 5 to 10 times per year? 10 or more times per year? Cast your ballot and click the Submit button.
Okay. And Sheryl, Mike actually had another question for you still.
Okay.
And we've got about 86% have voted, so you've got probably another minute or so.
Okay. All right, Mike, how are we doing?
Okay. Let's see, 93%. The options are still coming in. All right, it looks like we're good to go. So we have 50% of our attendees have said they are speaking outside of the club 1 to 5 times per year. 23% said 5 to 10 times per year, and 27% said 10 or more times per year.
That is excellent. Wow. And of course, my next question for you would be, are you getting paid? Okay, this is outstanding. It shows that you're really working the program and that you're starting to take this business seriously. So turn over to page 2 inside of the handout, please, as we start to explore your ideal topics. So those of you who are already speaking with 50%, wow, of 1 to 5 presentations outside of the club. This is great. Keep boosting that. And 10 or more, right on, right on. Boy, this is really exciting. All right, for your ideal topics then, please write down a couple of ideas, and I'll guide you through this process. I can speak on these topics, whether paid or pro bono. So let me define this phrase, pro bono. It means for free. Some people refer to it, well, being paid also, by the way, could mean that you receive an honorarium, and we'll talk about setting fees in this. So what topics can you speak on? So whether it's a passionate cause, something that you love to, something entertaining, what topics can you speak on? Please name at least 3. Some of those may even transfer to the next area. I am knowledgeable, experienced, or an expert on what topics. And it could be what are the things that you speak about most often, or if part of your job is speaking on particular topics, it could be that those get included into this particular area.
Okay. Sheryl, there's a couple of people, I guess, that are having some problems hearing you.
Okay. All right. How's the volume now?
It's still
testing 1, 2, 3.
No, I think I'm getting that now too. Unfortunately, it's a little bit fuzzy right now.
Okay. Shall I try a different circuit?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on. If you're noticing, by the way, that my keyboard, my laptop is clear, yes, it is. Never have your business out there for the public to see.
Yeah.
How is that? Testing 1, 2, 3? Good?
Much better. We get a funny comment on here that says it's not the volume, it's the Darth Vader effect. I think that's hilarious. But I think that's much better. Thank you.
I am your speaker. Thank you very much. Well, you know, yesterday was Back to the Future Day, too. And speaking in District 47 in the Bahamas, next week? Within 2 weeks, it is a Back to the Future theme. So you got to have fun in what you do. I'll talk more about becoming an accredited speaker and how you, too, can travel the world and speak at districts. All right. Does everyone have a few things written down on this page? Yes? Yay! Okay, great. All right, now the next area, because the first area was probably what you're passionate about. That's why it had the hearts in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, show me the money. Who are your ideal audiences? Now we're looking for the who. What clients, groups, companies, organizations, associations do you want to speak to? So who is your perfect one? I'll share with you an example. When I first started speaking, my target audience were women's groups, and I did a lot of women's conferences. Absolutely loved it. When I started doing more training for corporations, then of course it's a mixed group and often multi-diverse. It would open up to, oh gosh, technical people who needed public speaking skills, IT folks. So who do you want to speak to? And then some of those answers might also relate to the next question, who will pay you to speak on those topics? Off the top of your head, 2 or 3 groups. Who will pay you? Who do you think might pay you, even if you're not certain? Here's the big tip right here. If you are keeping an extra page of notes with what are the keepers from this webinar, the first one is the more focused your market, the targeted audience, and how you are the match for them will determine your success. We're looking for a match. It's almost as if it's a dating game where you have your topics and there are meeting planners and organizations that are looking for someone like you, and it's a numbers game, it's a matchmaking game. Meeting planners, organizers, HR officers inside of organizations, that's what we're looking for. So how can you bring your heart to what it is that you do and get paid to do it? All right, next question. Get ready to hit the poll button. Are you currently getting paid for speaking? This will be a yes, no, or sometimes.
Wow, people are quick on the voting button today.
Yay!
We're at 71% already.
Wow.
Yes.
Good job, attendees.
Okay, so let's wait another 30 seconds or so. Okay. 82%?
Survey. 82 is yes? Yippee!
Yeah. Well, 82% have voted so far. Not that many have voted that they're currently getting paid yet, which I suspect is why many people are on the call.
Huh. Okay. That's why I'm here for you.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So it looks like it's kind of stopped. So right now we have 4% are yes, 65% are no, and 30% are sometimes.
Okay. Good numbers. Thank you for that feedback. Great. Well, let's see how we can make a better match for you then and get you paid bigger bucks. Yay! All right, let's understand the business. Over on to page 3. What's it take to get started? All right, here's what I'd like you to do. Write down 3 things of what you think that it takes for you to get started in this business. 3 things. All right, I'll add to your list. Passion. Gotta love what it is you're going to be speaking about. Ideas, especially ideas that people want. It could even be that you are the solution to their problems. There's another big golden nugget from this program. Because people have problems. They're looking for a solution, and that's what we want you to be, which is where the money is. Energy. You've got to have good energy for this. So whether you are able to commit full-time to building your speaking business or whether you are building up your revenue by working another job as you're building your business, which that's an absolute great way to go, or that maybe you haven't started going into the business yet, wherever you are, it's perfectly okay. You also need to have commitment to get started. It helps to have support. So if you are in a relationship, it always helps if your partner is supportive of your new endeavors. And yes, it will take some investment. Now, years ago, oh my goodness, let's see, it was 27 or 28 years ago when I started professional speaking, and I owned my own business at that time. So I ran my full-time business. Then in my rest of my time and on the weekends, really developed my professional speaking business. When I figured out, when I went to full-time professional speaking, the investment for me, so you're talking 1990 when I joined the National Speakers Association, I had calculated at that point that I had invested 60,000 US dollars to get me started in the business. And you may say, what? Yes, talk about sticker shock, right, Heather? Well, I needed to do a 2-camera, 3-camera shoot video so that I had good video at that time, which meant having an audience in a hotel, and I treated them to continental breakfast and lunch and afternoon break. So right there were several $1,000s. The video, I remember, was $8,000 without editing. And by the way, that video, unedited, was what I submitted for level 1 of my accredited speaker designation. So it has to be unedited. That was absolutely worth the investment. Oh, then there's websites, and then there's marketing materials, then there's coaching, and then there's dues and subscription to National Speakers Association and our Canadian caps. So Canadian Association of Professional Speaking. Sorry, I wasn't. Okay, so NSA and CAPS. Well, all right, so what do you need? What more do you need? There's a list also at the top of page 3. These are the top 10 things, and yes, I'll help you fill in number 9 and 10. So topics of interest, we'll go there in just a minute. You're already started. Business cards specifically for promoting your public speaking. So not that it's a business card for something else and that you happen to put speaker on there. That's one transition to do it. Get really serious. What would professionals in the business already established do, be, and have, and think? And that's where you want to go with this. Number 3 is a website. Again, dedicated to your speaking. Number 4 are called Speaker One Sheets. It is a marketing piece. I'll be showing you those in just a couple of minutes. And a fee schedule. This is a list of numbers for how you charge. And I got to tell you, most speakers, this is the toughest thing out of this entire list to come up with is how we charge our fees. We'll come back to that, and there's an activity on the bottom of this page. Number 6 is great content and polished delivery, and the best tip I'll share with you there is Toastmasters. Number 7, do you have a social media presence? Number 8 are starting to develop products, books, etc., which will give you credibility and additional revenue streams. Number 9, here's one of your write-ins, clients, your industry, audiences. So those are number 9, clients, industry, and your audiences. Number 10, this is optional to have a business name, or you could be in business with only your name. So those are the top 10 things. Let me show you some of these visually. As an example, topics. Off the top of my head, I created this list of time-proven top topics that meeting planners are always looking for professional speakers and trainers to present on. Any type of business topic, and you can be very specific about what type of business, or maybe it's starting your own business. Change or change management, that's always a hot topic. Communication, and there's so many different directions that you could go just regarding communication. It could be conflict resolution as one of the topics. It could be team building under communication or leadership. Finance, money is always a good topic. Health and well-being. There are organizations that pay to bring in trainers who have expertise in health and well-being because it helps to keep their organization's health insurance down. Leadership, and of course, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. We learn so much about leadership. Why not go out there and get paid to be adding our spin on it with our original material. Leadership with team building would be a fabulous combination. Sales and marketing, always a hot topic. Technology, boy, if you're a speaker on technology, you will forever have business because it forever keeps changing. And I've added to this list trends because people are always looking for, well, what's the next thing? Where are we going with it? Let's take a closer look at items on this list. That was number 1 for topics of interest. Here's number 2, business cards. So this is the front of the business card for a certified financial planner who's also a retirement investment agent, and she is from Kansas here in the United States, which the state flower is the sunflower. So here's the front side of her card. Notice that it does have her photo on it. The flip side of the business card has bullet points which help name the pain or the problems and how she is the solution to those. One that you have, let's see, I'll come back to this in a second. So here's number 3 is a website. Yvonne Ortega is also a fellow Toastmaster on the East Coast. Matter of fact, she's currently an area director, so serving her district there. So here's her website, and I show this to you because I created a business card to match her website. I'm a firm believer that your marketing materials need to look congruent. It needs to look as if the same designer did them, even though she is a fabulous web designer. I did not design the web. I designed the business card to match the web. It looks great. Now, let me flip back here a second. So you'll notice that her photograph here is not the same as what it is on the business card. That's because as she is building her business, she's now having more professional photographs taken. What I'm pointing out to you here too is that this is, I call it a signature business card where it has your name on it. Then she has her tagline, moving from broken to beautiful, and you'll see why that's important coming up in a couple slides. What does she do? This is the back side of the business card, seminars, workshops, and retreats. I put that at the top of the card so people know what to hire her for. Then look at all these credentials. Yay. And she's bilingual, licensed. All of this is giving her credibility to get paid more. So she is out of Yorktown, Virginia. Yay, Yvonne. So here's one sheet that her web designer just designed, and working together with her to create a combination of what works and why. And in your handout, if you flip back a few pages, you'll see that this is the template that her web designer used to create the one sheet. I've included that in the handout, so you'll see exactly her one sheet as well as her business card and a template that we used to create it. So this is the front side of the one sheet. Here is the back side of the one sheet. A one sheet is literally one sheet of paper that you would print out, take it to your local photocopy store, have it photocopied full color on 2 sides, because everything in color, your materials need to look like you are worth the fee you are demanding. In Yvonne's case, she had her first book that was out regarding finding hope for your journey through breast cancer, and her new book, there it is, Moving from Broken to Beautiful. So you can see why that tagline is critical on her business card as well. So you have copies of that. We'll come back to this. Now, what do you do with that one sheet? It's downloadable on the website. I can't tell you how many times that meeting planners have gone to my websites to download, and they may call it a flyer or a brochure. It's a piece of paper, print it out, take copies to their committee meeting, and I get hired because people have trouble printing stuff out directly from the website. I don't know about you, but I get frustrated. Number 5 on the list of the 10 is a fee schedule. So it could be that you go ahead and you start writing things out. For those of you who are already being paid, the 4% of you that are currently being paid, I'm sure that you have something like this that started. Now granted, fees may be negotiable. The toughest thing I find for most speakers to do is to put a $ on their time. When we give a 45 to 60-minute speech, it is never only those minutes. Here's what I've done on my own is I stopwatch and I calculate how long do I invest in preparing for a presentation. And what I found is that for every 1 minute of the actual presentation time, it's 10 to 12 hours of preparation. All right, catch your breath. That's a lot. Here's where the other time comes from. Research, curriculum development, pre-program questionnaires, interviews of the attendees, of the bigwigs, studying the industry, going into their website, thinking about it, dreaming about it, going for a walk and thinking more about it. So it's never the 45 to 60 minutes, it's always more than that. Yet what the experts are paid is for how you bring that to their event and solve their problems. Even if you're a speaker for entertainment, the problem is that people they have lost their sense of hope, that they need to have more happiness and joy and to lighten up. Then you are bringing that as a potential solution to their problems. So start writing up a fee schedule. Again, there's more activity at the bottom of the page. So get ready. Here's your next poll. We know how you love these. All right, from those first 5 on the list, select one or more of the following. How are you doing? Which ones are you currently either you have or you're working on? So topics of interest, business cards, website, speaker one sheet, fee schedule.
Okay, and Sheryl, just so you know, Mike had another question for you.
Okay, let's see. All right. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Mike still has a question.
Okay, all right, well, you're doing that. You know, Heather, the other thing that we can do is just unplug and go live direct laptop.
Okay, well, that actually, whatever you did, it made Mike very happy.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, let's go with that then. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So
how are we doing on the poll?
We've got about 66%.
Okay.
And people are still voting, so.
Okay. Switch the screen back if you need to.
Yep. 72%. I love watching the polls because it's always interesting seeing how much the demographics change. Okay, it looks like we have stopped. So in terms of topics of interest, we have 95%. In terms of business cards, we have 36%. In terms of website, 36%. Speaker one sheets, 23%. Wow, that's fantastic. And
that's higher than, okay.
Yeah, 5% have a fee schedule.
Okay. Wow. If we were to repoll this and say how many of you after this webinar are going to have a fee schedule, I would think it would be 100%.
You know, that might be interesting to follow up on.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. This gives me real good feedback. Real good feedback. Okay, got it. All right, so then let's take a closer look at what those meeting planners who hire us expect from a speaker. Well, feel free to write these in. ROI, they want a return on their investment. When they reach out to you or they are looking for a speaker, they want instant responsiveness. And we're talking not when you get back to it, we're talking drop everything, return their call, respond to their email, even if you are going to respond more properly at a later time. They want to know you're interested. Otherwise, they move on and they find somebody else who responds faster. When you are speaking for their group, their organization, they want you to make them look good. They don't want to have any flack. This is, oh my gosh, that was the worst speaker ever. They want to hear, we're so glad that we came to this event. Wow, thank you for that speaker. They really brought it home for me. So they want the audience to be thrilled. They want their needs and objectives met. My personal goal is to exceed their expectations. When the CEO comes up to me after the first morning break and says, holy cow, little lady, you really did your homework, yeah, then I know that that's a complete success. All right, so let's get into setting fees. Show me the money. Here's a longer version of that handwritten slide that I just showed you. So and depending on what type of presentations that you give, let me define a few for you. A keynote is where the big bucks are, and you better be good. Put it that way, because just because it's paid more, you need to deliver more. This is going to be the 10 to 12 hours per minute of your delivery. And your delivery may be anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. I get hired for keynotes that are between 75 minutes and 90 minutes. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I only do 8 to 10 minutes. Keep growing. Put those segments together and then you have longer presentations. So a keynote may be the opening of a conference, a luncheon message, or the keynote closing. The General Assembly is different than a keynote. Although everyone may be in the room, it's not the same as a keynote. It's a General Assembly or a plenary session, Plenary, plenary. Let's say, for instance, at conferences that there are breakout sessions, which are educational, or breakout may also be referred to as a concurrent, C-O-N-C-U-R-R-E-N-T, concurrent session. So if someone asks us to speak for 20 minutes, like Rotary clubs, then this would be an ideal time to practice speaking outside of the club and take an advanced manual with you and a Toastmaster so that you can sign off on that manual. And because it's an outside presentation, it can be logged toward your 25 outside presentations going toward your accredited speaker designation. Whew, you can double dip. Yes, and if you get paid for it, that's a triple dip. Anyway, love, love, love those. Organizations today, especially companies, are bringing in speakers and trainers as well as consultants and coaches to do 20 to 30-minute lunch and learn sessions. Those may or may not pay, and here's why. The company may give you a test drive. They give you an opportunity to showcase, and it's a teaser. So make sure to bring your good stuff, but leave them wanting for more if you're not getting paid for that. Get a testimonial letter. Matter of fact, you ought to be getting a testimonial letter from every group that you speak to. And the lunch and learn, what I have found is that if they are 30 to 45 minutes, I request that the company provide their lunch, so then the employees want to come because it's free food, and that, well, usually I'll ask for a minimum fee, kind of like an honorarium of, say, $350 to $500 for that lunch and learn, and those are local, within 30-minute drive, very convenient, and those may be smaller groups. Keep in mind, if you're applying this toward your accredited speaker, you must have at least 20 people in your audience. I'll come back to that. I know you have questions. There's a complete archive of the webinar that we did specifically for how to earn Toastmasters accredited speaker designation. 45 to 60 minutes might be a keynote or a training situation. 75 to 90 minutes could be a keynote or an educational. I would also put in here 1.5 to 3 hours. That would be a training situation. Half day could be 3 to 4 hours. That's how I bill it anyway. A half day in my mind is 3 to 4 hours. And keep in mind, you must have a break no longer than 90 minutes into the presentation. So every 90 minutes or less, you must have a break, or your message is going to fall on deaf ears. So those would typically be trainings or seminars. Full day, I put as 6 to 8 hours, and I just did a full day retreat for upper management of a real estate firm, and then the next day did a half day for their support staff. So that was, and because I stayed overnight in the hotel, I could charge more than only one presentation, give them a discount so that it wasn't 2 full days out. And it was a 3-hour drive with mileage compensated at the at U.S. IRS mileage. So all of that counts. So start creating your list of what's going to work for you and start creating your fee schedule. Getting some ideas there? All right, number 6, great content and polished delivery. Oh boy, if there's something that I could tell you of the secret weapons that we have, the best kept secrets inside of Toastmasters, the advanced manuals and success leadership programs are one of them. Speechcraft is the other. So if depending on where you are, and it doesn't even matter, get all of the advanced manuals from Toastmaster headquarters. Buy the entire set. If you are serious about becoming a professional speaker, there will be times that you wish you had the manual to offer you insight and structure in how to create your presentation. Get all of the advanced manuals. Look into the success leadership programs. And I'll tell you, I did all of the advanced manuals, oh gosh, several times. I did 10 CCs, 15 advanced, and all of the success leadership programs at least twice. And I put this one here from speaker to trainer. Oh my, that alone is a fabulous gift. So invest, and that's what I'm saying, invest in this transformation for you so that you can really transform from Toastmasters into public speaking, paid speaking. So that's number 6. Number 7, Heather, thank you. I went to your website. Since you are a trainer of social media, I love this. Notice all of these little, oh gosh, what do we call them? Heather, what are the names for these
Generally,
icons?
icons works.
Oh, what do you call them?
Social media icons.
Okay, thank you. Social media icons. So then people want to know how to connect with you. So do have a social media presence, and Heather is everywhere. You might even, oh, Heather, that might be something good to do a poll in the future, is to find out how people, how they found out about this webinar, because we were
Yes.
all over social media. So there you go. Have a presence. Have a social media presence. Let's see, we're jumping. All right, well, we'll go there. All right, we're looking at one sheet, which is number 4 on the list. This is a before for Lenora Billings Harris out of North Carolina. She attended a workshop that I did, and she says, oh my gosh, I really need your help. So she had designed her one sheet in Word, which is fine, but Word is not a design program. Here's what I did with it. Give me an ooh, including branding. And I even suggested, let's see, in researching my clients to work with them, I dug very deep to find in one place on her website, she had something, and she said the Marble Lady. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. So I asked her about it. She just started laughing. And I said, what is this about the Marble Lady? She said, oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, because I teach multicultural diversity. No two marbles are the same, just like people. I thought, oh my gosh, you are sitting on your branding. So this is it's a beautiful colored background of a one sheet where the image bleeds. So the piece of paper is actually trimmed after the printing. This is the front side of her one sheet. Here's the before of the back side, and here is the after of the So this is a one sheet, a speaker one sheet, and this is where we want you to go. So as a result of changing her design from the to the after, she could add a serious comma in her fees for everything. She then went on to become, let me show you the before again. She then went on to become the president, the first African-American female president of the National Speakers Association. She is currently the first of the same for the Global Speakers Federation. That is huge. So she, by having her image match how she commands the audience and raising her fees, she was able to enjoy continued success. I mean, oh my gosh, just to see how she raised her fees. So how do you start creating this? Remember Mary D., the lady from Kansas? There's the Kansas sunflowers. I started all of her image based on the book she wrote. Here is the one sheet, the front, again, with her sunflowers, asking questions that name the pain, and then programs that plant prosperity. This is called a theme, where there's a theme woven throughout the design. Then from simple seeds to sunflower success, plant prosperity in your financial garden. That's the front side. Here's the back side where the program outlines are presentations for the picking. Ooh, isn't that clever? Over here, well-rooted in experience and knowledge. Rays of sunshine are testimonials. So that's why you want to start collecting those testimonial letters and make sure to get those from every engagement. Everything for her marketing tied in all the same. Here's a one sheet that I did for one of my colleagues in the National Speakers Association, Jennifer Fitzpatrick, and she just received her CSP, which is the Certified Speaking Professional designation from the National Speakers Association, which is similar to the accredited speaker in Toastmasters International. Here's the front side of it, which matched all of her marketing from generations and her logo. That's why the image in the background. And again, partial client list, because you will keep adding to that. All of these things are what goes onto a one sheet. So I'm leading you over to page 4, by the way, inside of your handouts. And all of us love Dr. Dillup. Yay! Past international president, distinguished Toastmaster, and accredited speaker. So here is his one sheet, use with permission. And here is a template. So if you don't know where to start in creating your one sheet, this would be a model template to use. If you flip to page 6 in your handout, you'll see that this is also the basic template that Jen, who designed Yvonne Ortega's one sheet, used. Now, the boxes on there are for images where things go. You do not put all of those lines into your one sheet as you are creating it. So on page 4, this is my suggestion for a one-sheet layout, including a portrait photo. So again, you'll notice that on Yvonne's, she now has a blue outfit that she's wearing as opposed to the red. She is also having more professional photos taken and updating her marketing materials as she goes. The biography, again, build your credibility. So your speaker name goes under your photo. The presentations, which is why we did the activity back on page 2, start bringing in the presentations where here's a title, a short statement about the program, I would say 2 to 3 sentences, bullet points, and here's why. According to the American Library Association, there are different types of readers. 10 to 20%, 10 to 15% of readers are avid readers where they read everything. About 70 to 80% of readers, it's more skim, where they need to have bullet points and they're looking for what's the return on the investment. The remaining percentage may be busy people or don't have time to read something, and so they're going to be skimming. The photographs and telephone numbers would be very helpful there. On the next page is the flip side of what I suggest for a one-sheet layout template. And again, testimonials. Now, here's a tip for Toastmasters. If you don't have these from clients and organizations, remember those comment forms that we have at each of our club meetings. When someone writes something fabulous of a comment for you regarding your presentation, even though it's a manual speech, this is great. Ask them if you could use that on your speaker marketing material to help you get started with their name, the title, and their organization. So it's not a Toastmaster-looking testimonial. It looks more professional. As you get more engagements, paid or not, start asking for testimonials and replacing those that you had previously or any of the ones that you would consider weaker and start putting stronger ones. Partial client list, so when you do these outside engagements, I would suggest putting them in alphabetical order. As you get more engagements, then chunk them by industry, where it might be associations or conferences or specifically education or sales and marketing or nonprofit organizations. A tip for you as fellow Toastmasters, is be absolutely proud that you are a member of this organization. When we say Distinguished Toastmaster, put that into your bio area. Do not play it up so much that everything about your credentials is Toastmasters. They are looking for why should they hire you. They're looking for subject matter expertise. What is your philosophy? What are organizations that you belong to in addition to Toastmasters? Awards that you receive? Yes. Don't downplay it. Don't be embarrassed that you are. Balance it with professional credentials as well, and that will serve you well. And I share that with you because a speaker bureau that hires speakers and doesn't hire them for less than $5,000 an engagement because they receive 20 to 30% commission, by the way. It was she who said, Sheryl, you need to downplay your Toastmasters a little bit because, and add other credentials to it. And I thought, wow. And here's why. Doggone it. The public thinks that because we're Toastmasters, we're not good speakers. And they couldn't be more wrong. As Toastmasters, we shine. We have structure. We learn how to open, hold the content, deliver a dynamic closing. We learn that. Well, as my buddy Darren would say, don't only speak inside of Toastmasters. Learn it in Toastmasters and take it out into the real world. That's what we need to do here as we are transforming from Toastmasters to paid speaking. Also on the back side, include an action photo. Ideally, you in front of an audience. That would be fabulous. Make sure that the audience knows that they might be photographed so that they look happy, they're paying attention to you, and not looking down. Those are the templates. Those are the templates for a one sheet. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Darth Vader is paying you a visit again, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to unplug the headset, and how is my sound from the laptop?
That's perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. Darth, the force is strong with us, so we're going to keep going. All right, so products is number 8 on the list. As you can, develop products that you can sell back of the room that are educational resources or inspirational that people, because they want to take you home with them. This was my 5th book on designing marketing materials, and it was in the Toastmaster catalog for a couple of years when it first came out. It's loaded with how to design marketing materials specifically for Toastmasters. That's why it did get its blessings. It's perfect for VP of membership, we've changed our titles. I'm still old school on this. For marketing, for public relations, and membership. The Solid Gold Speaker Marketing Materials is a 2-volume video filmed for the National Speakers Association. So have products that people can use after they meet with you. Here's my 2 latest products specifically for Toastmasters as resources. This is a manual. It's almost 60 pages of how to speak like a pro, and then a DVD loaded with 27 MP3 audio files of full presentations and their handouts, plus interviews and radio shows, including Craig Valentine had me on his Speak and Prosper program 2 years in a row, which is unusual to have the same speaker back. So develop resources that people are going to want to invest in, and it honors your subject matter expertise. So again, here's Yvonne's book. They had just arrived, so this is exciting. These are her products, her new book. Under number 9 clients, as an example, these are some of my clients. And I have to tell you one story about Intuit. I was asked to come and do a seminar for an open house for a club that met nearby. So again, it was the full seminar, the full Toastmasters meeting was a seminar that I did, one of my trademark titles, Sparkle When You Speak. The room was filled with 80 people. The Toastmaster Club on site hosted it, and then 2 weeks later launched a speechcraft program to help people accelerate their communication skills.
The director of IT was in the room. He then hired me to train his entire department. So here I did a free seminar at this little company called Intuit that does TurboTax and other great financial software programs. And as a result of showcasing, giving for them, they hired me at full fee. I also then trained the executive sales team as they were getting ready to launch their new TurboTax, and hired me again at full fee. So you never know where things are going to go. Start building your client list. The business name, number 10 on this list, it's optional. If you use a business name, in how you use it, be congruent. I couldn't have Sparkle presentations without it looking sparkly. So if you go to sparklepresentations.com, you'll see the animation of the starburst and the tagline, every event needs sparkle. This was my first website, by the way. This was my first one. So if you're looking for what's current, again, now I kept my sparkle and pulled it into my name website. So this is SherylRoush.com. This is a live montage, high energy music that auto launches when you go to SherylRoush.com. So have things that look professional, that look like, yes, you're really in the business. Here's my business card. This one happens to be for, with the back side of this for the Speak and Market Like a Pro. So this is one business card. A different business card that I have has what my topics are on the back of it. So have great business cards. Email signature, when you sign off, does everything look congruent for you to be using? Here is one of my industry-specific one sheets. So as we were looking back at my ideal audiences, I'm hired frequently by healthcare organizations for keynote and then an educational session. I just did one for AHAM, which is the American Association of Healthcare Administrative Management, not only for the national convention, but then a chapter hired me back in the state of Maryland. And I had one sheets like this so that people, when they went back to their companies, their organizations, would have a one sheet if they wanted to contact me to bring me on site. So that's very specific to the healthcare industry type of one sheet. Now I've mentioned that wraps up the 10, by the way. So I'm guessing that you have questions regarding the Accredited Speaker Program, which is a journey and a program to help you become a professional speaker. For this, you can go to toastmasters.org/accreditedspeakerprogram.aspx, or if you're doing a search, then search under resources accredited speaker, and it gives you information regarding the program. From the archive on District 53, you can download the handout and watch that webinar. It's still posted and it's free, complete with the handout, which includes information on the rules. And I developed 2 tracking sheets which will help you, whether you go for accredited speaker or not. It'll help you with your progress tracking and achievement, as well as your engagement tracking. And here's more information regarding accredited speaker, some of the things that I've already mentioned there. So these are in the handout on that free webinar. And there's always support for you. Any of us that are located on accreditedspeakers.com, we would be honored to mentor you. There is no charge to mentor you toward the accredited speaker designation. If you're asking us to coach you on the professional business, many of us do charge. But for mentoring toward the program, we are all available to you. On August 11th, I hosted a program in Las Vegas the day before the convention. Several of you were there, on how to become an accredited speaker, with approved by Dan Rex, our CEO at Toastmasters International, full authorization to record the entire day, complete with the handouts from the speakers, and it's loaded with supplemental materials. If you're interested in that, if you want to know anything about accredited speakers, then I would go to this website. So Heather, if you would please cut and paste that particular link and put it into the chat box, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure. I will
And
certainly try.
oh, here
That's
you go.
okay.
Here you go.
I actually can't cut and paste from your screen, but I know
Okay,
this
so
will be
you are.
recorded and we will have this available as a link.
Thank you for typing it. So here's where we've been. We have already covered. Gosh, we'll go into Q&A. In this webinar, we've already explored your ideal topics and your audiences. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what it takes to get started in the business, that I've reached you at whatever level that you are currently speaking, and perhaps inspired you to even utilize the Toastmaster program more than you currently are. And you've discovered how to design your speaker marketing materials to get you hired. The final page inside the handout, if you're interested in having me coach you, then you have this webinar special. It's good through Halloween. That's October 31st, and I'll leave it with that. So let's open up the lines, and thank you for attending. We are 1 minute early, and we have permission to go overtime. So yay.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheryl. So as Sheryl mentioned, we are now going into the question and answer part of the webinar. I would remind people that we do have handouts, so that if you have not downloaded them prior, they are to the right of your screen to download them now. If someone still misses out, I would be happy to email them, and they will be available on the District 53 website as well tomorrow. So please ask questions now, because I will be going through our list. We do have some funny comments in here for you, Sheryl, as well as other things.
I love the Darth Vader reference. Thank you.
I'm going to have to bookmark that. That is just too funny. All right. So the first question is, how do you know what to charge?
How do you know what to charge? Wow. This is the most difficult question of all. And here's why. It links back to how are we valuing ourselves, our experiences in life, and our time. What I did for my own process was I came to a point where I was doing so many free presentations where it was maybe a 10 to 12 minute or 15 or 20, and it would be a 45-minute drive each way in tough traffic. And I thought, wow. And I would need to provide my own handouts for 100 people, and nothing was compensated except my meal. Now, when we're getting started, that's pretty good. When we get busy and we have clients who really want our time and will pay good money, that's when we need to fit those freebies in as we can. So I developed my philosophy that I don't leave the house for less than $350 US, which helped me to determine who was serious about having me come and speak. And that could be, you know, those, let's see, other than service organizations, including Rotary, Lions, and Optimus, because those are charitable nonprofit organizations. Anything other than those, I would say my minimum fee for 30-minute presentation is $350. I had to start somewhere. I had to start somewhere. And that's where I started. It is the most difficult thing to determine. I will share with you the more value that you bring, the more content rich that your program is, and the more that you solve people's problems, the more they will pay. You have to believe in yourself, your content, your message, your skills. You have to believe in those first. You have to start somewhere. So here's what I did. I started with a $350 as a minimum. Then I increased it to $500, $750, $1,000, $1,500. And then let's see, nonprofit organizations like the San Diego Zoo, world famous. I support their cause to end extinction, and I would give them a special discount rate. So then I would do a local discount, and I would need to set a fee, which was high, and then let them know. So let's say I'm not going to give you exact numbers. So let's play with some numbers. Let's say that I charge $10,000 regularly. All right. So let's just say that. Then if I do a nonprofit organization discount, maybe it's half price. So maybe it's $5,000. And then if it's a local nonprofit discount, maybe it's $3,500. Hey, that sounds pretty good, actually. Okay, so you have to start somewhere. You know, and you can pick and choose which ones you will do for free. Here's how we need to educate our public. They think that because we're Toastmasters, we always speak for free. Yes, until we tell them we are a professional speaker and have these marketing materials to back it up. When we hand them a professional business card that has our photo on it, has information about us as a professional speaker, maybe an author, coach, trainer, what your topics are, people will start taking you seriously. By not putting public speaker, but instead putting professional speaker, that implies paid. When people ask us to come and speak, you can start asking a lot of questions. How long of a program? Where is it located? How many people? Ask a lot of questions before you say your fee. There could be several other factors that have to be considered into saying yes to something. You know, where is it located? You know, what is the compensation? If they say we offer an honorarium, brace yourself, that's probably a very low figure. It could be $100. You know, when I would speak at churches, then it was a love offering. And I spoke at churches of all different religions. Great experience. And I would promote Toastmasters, which many of the churches then started clubs on site. So look at, why are you speaking? If it does not pay, what's the win-win? What you don't want is to build resentment for not charging or not charging enough. Ask the questions back to the meeting planner before ever naming a fee. One of the questions to add to your list is, I bet you have a budget for this. May I ask what that is? Or since you bring in speakers for these events, what is your typical budget? They may tell you what their number is.
Okay.
Start somewhere.
That's some great information, Sheryl. We do have actually quite a few more questions to get to. And there's one cute comment in here that says, wow, people call you little lady.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Having met you in person, I don't know how I could call you a little lady, because while you might be small in stature and a little taller than me, you have a very big personality, which is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we do have a couple of questions, and we have said it a few times, but yes, this recording will be available tomorrow. We are recording the seminar. It does take a while to load up online, but I will make sure that everybody gets a copy of it that's requested it or gets the link. Okay, and so some of the other questions we had was, my agent gets a 15% fee. Is that low, reasonable, or high?
Oh, thank you. I would question the word agent. Agent is typically for talent, as in a talent agent. In speaking, we do not refer to them as an agent, unless you're a celebrity. Otherwise, we refer to them as speaker bureaus. If 15% is a speaker bureau commission that's low, be thankful, stay with it. And make sure that you are charging enough to accommodate that 15% commission. Now, something else that I do, in the real estate firm that I just presented to, it was referred to me by a colleague in the National Speakers Association, and I asked, what is your commission from this referral? I extended my hand by saying, how much would you like for referring this to me? And she said 10% is standard, which, yes, it is. So and I'll put this out there to any of you who get me hired for a paid engagement, I will gladly pay you 10% kickback, gladly. So 10% to a colleague for a referral is great. 15% for a commission to an agent or a bureau, absolutely, that's fabulous. I have paid anywhere from 20 to 30%. Typically, it's at 25%. And speaker bureaus, again, won't work with speakers, really, like especially keynote speakers, unless they're at least $3,500, but closer to $5,000 or more, because that's how they make their livelihood, and they work very hard for it. Next question.
Okay. So let's see. Just a nice comment. Sheryl, thank you. Very informative. Moving on to my one sheet. And,
oh, yay!
And the next question is, what do you charge and how for travel time?
I do not charge for travel time. Some speakers I know do, I don't. Even, let's say, going to the Bahamas, thank you very much, District 47, Florida, and the Bahamas, thank you very much. I do not charge for that day in the air. That's just my philosophy. Mm-hmm. And when you bring in speakers to speak at your district, no one should be paid a fee for speaking to your Toastmasters event, period, and World Headquarters will attest to that. What the compensation is that you cover your guest speakers' travel, meaning coach round trip airfare and hotel accommodations, and the conference or the event registration, including meals. You offer a product sales table, which is great. It may not conflict with speech contest time or the business meeting. So it's all laid out in what's called a speaker agreement, but the speaker may not receive a fee. Any speaker should not receive a fee for speaking at our events, period. So I do not charge for travel time. If I am driving, and I do this up front, there's no surprises. It's this much fee, so whether it's discounted or it's a full fee, plus expenses, and I itemize what they will be. Hotel, whether it's 1 night, 2 night, and I'll even help them select the hotel. I spend other people's money as if it was my own. If there's ways that I can do a 2-stop flight instead of a non-stop to save the district money, I'm doing it. It's district money. That's our members' money. If, let's see, hotel, and not being high maintenance, I think really helps. Let's see, travel. I do standard mileage, but not always. Not always. If it's a great, or let's say if I'm speaking for free, I may ask them to photocopy my handouts and reimburse me for mileage, and that's all.
Okay, great, thank you. And
make it easy to work with you. Make it easy to work with you.
Okay, and Sheryl, that question was actually from me because I do a lot of East Coast traveling, and sometimes like my last, one of my recent speaking engagements was about 3 hours away. So I drove there, and they kindly offered to reimburse me for gas and travel time, and I personally just said, well, if you could do gas, that would be great. So I didn't know if there was a standard. What's that?
3 hours. Ouch, 3 hours.
Well, they put me up in a wonderful bed and breakfast and pampered me, so I can't complain.
Okay. Oh, that's always nice. That's always nice to be pampered. Let's see, Darren. Okay, then make sure that you get a testimonial letter with permission to use it in your marketing.
Yep.
Look for the win-win. Now, was that a paid engagement, Heather?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Oh, absolutely. Good answer. All right, absolutely.
So, so we do have some more questions. One of them was, and you did kind of address it. Do you ask them to reimburse for handouts, or do you build into the fee?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one. Depending on how many people are in the audience, if it's over 100 and if I'm traveling, if I'm flying, I would have them make the handouts. And they also need to know that my handouts are copyrighted, that they may not be further distributed without my consent. When people ask me for copies of my slides, depending on what program that it is, if it's any of my trademark programs, no. I've worked hard for my custom content, and I do not give my slides away.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, did I finish answering your question though? What was the other part of that?
Or did you?
Oh, handouts.
Yes.
Handouts.
Yep. Do you ask them to reimburse for handouts, or do you bill into the fee?
I would ask for reimbursement for the handout, not built into the fee. Okay. Now, there's a different philosophy on that. If it's a big handout or if it's printed in color, et cetera, then you can have a per attendee materials fee. At one time in my earlier years, I charged $1 per handout, which covered, going to the copy store, having them run off, and covering my cost of it. So be very clear, whatever it is, up front, and do a speaker agreement. I call mine a simple agreement, so it doesn't sound like contract. And then they're easily accepted. Especially consider having a proposal. Do a proposal where everything is outlined.
Okay.
And then the speaker agreement.
Okay. Let's see, another question that's come in is, how often did you raise prices per quarter, per number of speaking gigs?
Wow. You know what? Years went by for me before I raised my fees. A big benchmark for me was earning accredited speaker, and I raised my fees then. Let's see, so I joined, let me grab a calculator here. All right, I earned accredited speaker in 1993. I joined in 1987. So 6 years after joining Toastmasters, I significantly raised my fee because then I felt worth it. I had this additional credibility and the journey to becoming truly a professional speaker.
Okay.
After that, it's interesting because I hire mentors, I hire coaches, and I invest in keeping my image and my marketing materials up to date. I design a lot of my own marketing materials, but when it comes to certain things like my branding and my website, I hire one of my coaches to help me. And that could be $8,000 to $10,000, on one check but then, that's what my reputation is worth to me, is to make sure to invest. So when I did that, my coach raised my fees, and I do that for people I coach. I will have a conversation with you, 15, 20 minutes, ask a lot of questions, and help you set your fees just by asking those questions. Well, do you have this? What about this? What about that? And what's your expertise? What's your background? What's your topic? Who's your topic who's your primary market? And based on that, you're giving this long of a presentation, boy, you really ought to be starting here. And most people in 15 minutes on a phone call with them, I've doubled their fees.
Okay, great.
Well, I know. Tell me if
that's fantastic.
Well, because we undervalue ourselves. That's why we need to have someone giving us input, insight, feedback on things.
Absolutely. Okay. And I think this question actually kind of ties into that a bit. Should we have our speaking prices public?
No. Oh, sorry. Well, okay.
Tell us how you really feel.
I know, thank you. Only if you absolutely want to be held to those, and if you are secure with those prices. Otherwise, the National Speakers Association has what's called a code of ethics, whereby we are not to say what our prices are. That's why I said, let's take $10,000 as an example. So we can't say exactly what it is that we charge because, well, anyway, because of the Code of Ethics. Code of Ethics also suggests, I guess you could say, that the prices are not posted. You know, we're not, I'm trying to think, we're not Starbucks, we're not a coffee shop where you walk up and you see these 3 different sizes and okay, boom, there's your price. No, there's a lot more logistics to it. We deserve to be paid for what we do and the expertise that we bring to it.
Okay.
I would be very careful posting your speak on your website. You could, however, in your marketing package that might go out with a brochure, A1 sheet, business card, have a fee sheet that goes into that packet. Maybe there's a proposal, maybe there's a contract, maybe there's, you know, several things that go out into a beautiful presentation folder. That's where it would go if used.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, are there some samples of good speaker contracts out there that you can point us in the direction of?
Ooh, okay, go to nsaspeaker.com. That stands for National Speakers Association. So nsaspeaker.com. Oh, did I include? I'm wondering if I included a supplemental file on the Accredited Speaker thumb drive. I can always check on that later. I might have. Otherwise, pop me an email. Okay, let's see. Go ahead, and I'm going to say, well, all right, Sheryl at sparklepresentations.com. I'm typing this in here for you, Heather.
Okay.
And in the subject line, put D53 speaker contract so that I can reply, and I'll send you a very simple, oh, that's a pre-programmed questionnaire. That'll help too. All right, that's a pre-programmed questionnaire. That's what I was thinking of. Since I put it out there, though, go ahead and same thing. If you want a copy of the pre-programmed questionnaire, pop me an email, and I will email you a couple of things. Be happy to.
Okay, great. Let me just make sure that everybody gets that. And
make sure in the subject line, though, that you put D53 so I know where you're coming from.
Okay. And I will try to send all of this out by email as well to any people that were interested. And let's see, we do have, this looks like the last question. We had quite a few tonight. Sheryl, what is your target market? And please tell us your story about your first paid speech.
Oh, goodness. Let me go to the second part of that first. My first paid engagement was a graduation commencement ceremony for a fashion institute here in San Diego. So probably 20-minute drive. I took an advanced Toastmaster with me and a manual. Oh gosh, let's see, it was a special occasions manual. I believe it was the keynote project. And he gave me an evaluation. I got paid for it, and I could also use it toward my accredited speaker engagements. It was a keynote. I remember it was very lively, very engaging. I was paid $750 for, I think it was 45 minutes. I remember I didn't, when I brought the check home, and I'm so thankful I had a fellow Toastmaster with me for support, because that, you know, doing a commencement is, it's its own stress, you know, kind of thing. And I remember staring at the check for at least a couple of weeks. I hung it up on my door. I taped it up. I had trouble cashing it. And I didn't think I should get paid for having so much fun. So really, I mean, that was where the self-worth was. It's like, wait, I'm getting paid to have this much fun? These days I have no problem with it, you know. It It's like, oh yeah, you can have fun and you can make money, you can have a livelihood, you can travel the world where other people cover your travel, you can be of great service, to have that conviction, that passion to help transform, to help offer, to give people a sense of hope. You can do all of that as a paid speaker. So please think bigger than where you currently are. Know that the world needs your message. Today, my target audience, boy, I go where I'm called, and that's my personal mission statement of being a speaker. I go where I am called to as often as I can to the best of my ability. And I truly love my Toastmaster family, and I'm giving back in every way that I possibly can. So that's my heart, that's my family. And my target market professionally, I love speaking at associations where there are representatives from numerous organizations and companies where they can be the cheerleader and take the message back to their people and reach the masses. When I first started professional speaking, I created a mission statement to make a global difference, which it didn't dawn on me then that it meant traveling the globe in order to do it. Which, now I have 12 countries, and I'm
Wow.
going for more, and I'm certainly not finished. So my ideal market is one that is ready to have their spirits uplifted and rekindle the spirit, to have a lot of fun, to get skills that they can use, and to help share with others to make the world a better place.
Fantastic. And speaking of Kindle, I just actually had another personal question. Is Heart of a Toastmaster available for Kindle?
Yes, it is.
It
It's
is?
on Create. It is. It's available as an ebook, as print on demand through CreateSpace on Amazon.com, and printed copies as well.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I had some people that I loaned the book to in my Toastmasters club, and they said, is it available on a Kindle? Because apparently they're addicted to their Kindles.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get your copy of it back then.
No, well, the good thing is I actually ended up with about 6 copies. The signed ones, though, are the ones that I don't let out of my sight. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So it looks like that's it for questions. There are some wonderful comments in here saying, thank you for all the great information, very informative webinar. Thanks for speaking, and even more questions about, is this being taped and will be available? And yes, it will. Okay, so I have
Heather,
yes.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, and District 53 for hosting this webinar series and for bringing me back for this second one. The first one is how to earn your Toastmasters accredited speaker. So thank you for providing this webinar. I believe that your district is very forward thinking in offering such a member benefit. So thank you. And members from anywhere around the world can go on and look at your archives on District 53. So thank you.
No, and again, thank you very, very much. And thank you everyone for attending and listening to accredited speaker Sheryl Roush. And thank you for this wonderful, terrific informational presentation. And thank you so much to everyone that's attended. I know that it is getting, at least on the East Coast time, up past about 9 o'clock, so it's getting a little bit late. But we appreciate all of you hanging in there. And as a final reminder, this webinar has been recorded, and it will be available on the District 53 website by tomorrow. And if you just Google District 53 Toastmasters, hopefully the website should come up, and I know it does. Or you can go to d53.toastmastersdistricts.org, and the link will be on the left to webinars and also our past webinars, including Sheryl's past webinar, how to get accredited speaker status, which is a terrific webinar with a lot of information. So again, thank you so much, Sheryl. Really appreciate your time and enthusiasm and so much knowledge you had to share with us.
It's my pleasure to serve.
Okay, thank you everyone and have a wonderful evening. We will be ending this webinar and go get some sleep, everybody.